What is up, everyone? Zick here. Despite the title, this is not going to be a video where I'm just shitting on Blizzard the whole time, even though that's maybe what I want to do right now. That's not what we're gonna do. And I was gonna record this at my desk, but I decided to come out to this little field by my house, little poop can over there, and touch some grass. There's a very real phenomenon that happens here. Earth is a very huge natural ground. Electricity travels to ground, and so any free radicals in your body associated with inflammation, if you touch some grass, they will literally flow into the earth, out of your body, and sort of rebalance your electricity. So I really need to touch some grass. So I came out here. I'm gonna actually plop down maybe on my butt here, get a little wet. And I wanted to talk to you guys about something that happened yesterday. And this has to do with Diablo 4 and the new expansion. So like most of you, I've been super excited for Vessel of Hatred and the new expansion, and specifically to play the Spiritborn class. And this is just like really cool looking class with what they've showed so far and what's been data mined and what's on the build planners now. I've spent, I don't know, a couple days at this point, like theory crafting, poking around, trying different builds. I had like 17 build planners planned out for Spiritborn. But anyways, yesterday I come across a video from Darth Microtransaction, and if you had to pick one Diablo content creator to follow, I think he's a really good one, because if you're like me, where I don't know, I just like to do my own thing. I'm not that connected to like what's going on and the zeitgeist and such. I just like to have fun playing video games, and more recently help people try to do the same. And so someone like Darth Microtransaction, he's like tied right into all the shit that's happening, right? He's right there. And so he's a really good guy to follow for very authentic perspective on sort of the news of Diablo. So I follow him to kind of get an idea of what's happening. And so he posts a video yesterday, and it's called I Have Huge News or something. I don't know. He posts videos with titles like that all the time. It's like, you know, a little bit of clickbait tactics, but you're interested. If you know him, you're interested in what he has to say, so you'll click on it. And he, you know, he's not trying to bait you. It's good content that he delivers. So I watched this video, and I basically find out that Blizzard has given him, and he said like a dozen other content creators, early access to Vessel of Hatred starting yesterday, their own like premiere build to test for free, right? And they get to play this test build for the next 2 weeks before any of us get to even touch it. So they had the open PTR, which was a couple weeks ago, and the expectation they set there is that, you know, this new content, the story, the new class, the new zone, you know, everyone's going to get to experience it together when it comes out on the 8th. And that was like in a sort of an exciting premise or concept, right? It's like, oh shit, like nothing's going to be figured out. Like that's going to be dope. Like we're going to be able to like explore and learn together. And there's not going to be these like, this like huge swarm of like, you know, infinite damage, best, super best, ultra best build, God mode or whatever, right? So I've been really excited about that. And as like a smaller creator, you know, it's exceptionally hard to sort of punch through the algorithm and the volume of videos and views that are being accumulated by these top creators. As a smaller creator, you really got to hustle and be intentional to try to, you know, kind of work your way through there and try to make any sort of name for yourself or any sort of progress. So, you know, that's what I've been trying to do, and it's becoming a bit more intentional. It's been a bit of a hobby, I would say. It started as a business, turned into a hobby, and now I'm thinking I'm gonna treat it more like a business again. And that's like a whole other video that I'll probably do at some point. But basically, this video gets posted yesterday, and DM tells me and everyone else that Blizzard has sent him, you know, some message saying him and like a dozen other creators are gonna get early access to Vessel of Hatred. They're gonna get to test and play the shit out of the new class, all the new content, all the end game, all the cool stuff. They get to experience it 2 weeks before we do, and they're gonna get that all that time. So like, guys, let's think about it for a second. 2 weeks in terms of a blaster, that's like a fucking eternity, man. They're gonna be completely done with the entire season. Like, like 2 weeks is a long time for someone who's just like going ham like these guys do, right? So, you know, basically in those 2 weeks, they're gonna figure like most shit out, like a lot of stuff, right? So, and he said the NDA is getting lifted on the 4th. So come the 4th of October, we're gonna see like this huge influx of like all these videos that these top creators have been, you know, piling up over the last 2 weeks to sort of spam release over these like 3 or 4 days leading up to the 8th, so that when the 8th arrives, there's like all these already, you know, pre-made build guides to whatever, like end game guides. Like, they're basically, you know, gonna have the opportunity to sort of figure out the expansion before any of us get a chance to even touch it. And so, you know, my first thought was like, fuck, I want to do that. Like, that's not fair, bro. Like, I've been making build guides since season 1, bro. Like, you know, I haven't had the time capacity to invest what these guys have invested yet. Although that is something I'm working toward, and I'm really trying to, I've put myself in a position to really go hard for this last part of the year. And so part of that was like, I was really looking forward to this sort of like even playing field. From a smaller creator perspective, I was looking forward to this like kind of fresh start. There's gonna be a new class. No one's had the chance to play it before the game came out. No one's had a chance to play it since the game's been out. It's like this totally fresh new thing. And from the view of a player, I would think, you know, as looking at it from a player's perspective, which I am also a player, like that would be, it's just like frustrating a bit that the sort of the surprise of it all is going to be sort of spoiled. And like, I think they're not allowed to show like cinematic spoilers, but like, that's it, bro. You're going to see everything else from these guys, right? And so for someone like me, who plays games for the experience, for the sort of like journey through it, and loves to like kind of figure stuff out on their own, if you're on YouTube at all, and if you're watching in these videos, like all that's sort of going to be taken away from you by this approach. And I just think it's a really sort of like, it's just a weird approach, man. It's not a weird approach. That's the wrong way to put it. It's a business approach. And basically what Blizzard cares about is stock price, is profit to shareholders. So as soon as you get to like a corporation level, literally, guys, the only thing that matters is profit. Is the only thing that matters for most of these. There's definitely exceptions, right? And especially like on the gaming side of things, some smaller studios, there's definitely exceptions where, you know, their passion sort of overrides this. But in majority, if you're talking about a large corporation, so especially Blizzard, now that they've been bought by Microsoft, are especially this way. The decisions, the high-level decisions that get made, the only real factor in those is profit. Profit to the shareholders of Blizzard, not Microsoft, right? So, you know, keeping that in mind, what are they trying to do with their release of Vessel Hatred? They're obviously trying to get it as big of a release as they can. They want as many people as they can to play it. And so, you know, I thought their marketing strategy so far has been pretty good. And it's basically this, you know, teaser of content of the new stuff. And then they let everyone test, you know, with the open PTR, they let everyone test all the season 6 stuff for like a week, which is awesome. And I played that like all day, every day. And I still have a bunch of videos I'm going to be making from that before the release. But basically, it was implied that, you know, no one was going to get to really touch the class until the expansion come out, the new class, Spiritborn, and see the new zone and play through all the story and stuff. And so basically, when I heard about this, you know, it really kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, my first reaction was like, that's not fair. Woe is me. And, you know, my second reaction was like a little bit of jealousy for like DM and these other creators. And then after that, I was like, you know, I'm obviously happy for DM. I think it's like, you know, I'm glad him and these other guys get an opportunity because they've been pumping. You know, I'm not gonna deny that they've been putting in more hours more consistently than I have, and probably most small creators have, for a long time. And so I'm not saying they don't deserve what they're getting, and I'm not saying it's even like a bad idea from like a marketing strategy. It's just like a bit disappointing to me. And in my experience, like from my YouTube channel, I've basically been making content related to Blizzard, either World of Warcraft or Diablo, since like the beginning of my channel. And they've never tried to reach out to me. I've never tried to reach out to them. Like I said, I kind of just like do my own thing, right? But when this happened, I was like, bro. So yesterday, I've never had a Twitter in my life. Yesterday, I literally, like shortly after this happened, I made an X, and I made an account, and I messaged the Diablo account, and I basically was like, yo guys, I'm like a YouTube content creator. I've been making build guides in season 1. I really like want to deliver high quality Spiritborn builds along with like builds for other classes like during this new season. Is there any way I could also get into this like, you know, Premier Access build to test stuff and like deliver cool build guides for people in the upcoming weeks? And you know, I honestly didn't respect a response from that, and I haven't gotten one, and I don't expect to get one. But, you know, that's just like a bit to say where my frustration level is at, because I'm like, I literally haven't touched Twitter like my whole life, and that was enough to make me do it. You know, and maybe that just goes to show, like, I've developed a recent desire and true passion to try to, like, break the mold a little bit about what's happening in Diablo 4. There's all these guys that are min-maxing the shit out of everything and making these builds that are the best, quote, the best. And with the way the systems are designed in Diablo, most of those builds end up being like one button, sort of boring, in my opinion, boring to play builds that you are really gear requirement heavy. You really have to get, you know, it's a lot of grinding to get the right gear and get it all set up. And that's the only way it's going to feel good, is if you get to that like pure end game state and it's all around just pressing one button over and over. And I don't know, I like, especially in a game like Diablo, there's no competitive ladder, guys. We're not like, at least yet, like, we're not like competing against each other. So rather than like trying to play the best build, why not play like builds that are the most fun, that are also really powerful, maybe 5% less powerful, but still freaking awesome and like super fun to play? And like, why are you playing? Like, are you playing to have fun? Or are you playing to be the best in this like isolated bubble that no one knows about except yourself? Like, and what does the best even mean? It's like, okay, you can clear pit tier 50 with a single button lightning spear build that, you know, Makuna came up with, and like, props to Makuna. I think he's like a very, and I don't even know if he came up with the lightning spear build, you know, like, but he's the one that sort of like propagated it and has like taken it to the really high level. And I think he's a fantastic creator, great sorcerer, like nothing against him at all or any of these guys, but I don't even know, bro. I just like had, sometimes shit happens in life where you like, this spark gets lit in you and you're like, fuck man, I just gotta say something, you know? And if you don't say something, it's like more harmful to your soul than like any sort of repercussions that are gonna come for you saying something. And like, I usually keep my mouth shut, bro. I don't say much. Like, I like to help people. I like to play games for fun and play them in creative ways, come up with like creative builds and share that with people. And that is something recent I've discovered. It's a super fulfilling sort of loop. And my dream is like, my dream is like not to be the biggest creator or super famous or super rich. Like, I literally need like $3,000 a month, and I want to be able to play the games I enjoy and make videos based on that, and have the ads from that make me enough to live comfortably. I just like not extravagantly. Like, and if I could, that loop, like, and I've started to feel this feedback loop where I make these videos and you guys respond and say, dude, I tried your build and it's awesome and I'm having a ton of fun, and it took me from like my sorcerer feeling lame to my sorcerer feeling super fun. And I've also had like a decent amount of comments from you guys where it's like, dude, for whatever reason, your builds are super fun to play, and I really enjoy your builds versus like the sort of like meta builds. And so that, you know, that kind of idea of like playing for satisfaction, playing for fun, and like you flexing your sort of creative brain, your inner wizard, to figure stuff out and do stuff different and like kind of carve your own path. That's what I'm all about. And like, you know, I love people that are similarly minded, and I also love the people that, you know, I have a lot of respect. And part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is there's a ton of people that want to do that, but they just don't have the time. Like, maybe their brain works that way, but they literally don't have the time to sit down and figure out an endgame sorcerer build. And so if I can provide that person with, you know, 100 hours of experience that I've had in the last week trying this build or whatever, and help them just skip all that, dive in and start playing it and have their own journey in like a fun, cool way, like that's like exactly what I'm after. And so I'm probably getting a little off course here. So the video is like, Blizzard hates small creators. And that title sort of came from the frustration of yesterday. Now that I'm in the grass touching it and I'm talking to you guys, you know, getting a little bit off my chest, I'm feeling a bit better about it. It's something that's like super helpful, guys. When you have something hit you that hard, where you really kind of feel it in your soul, let yourself feel it, right? Like, I think that's super important. Like, I let myself, I was pissed yesterday, bro. I was pissed all day. I went to the gym pissed, and I came home pissed, but the gym helps. So, you know, picking heavy stuff up and putting it down for some reason definitely helps this sort of anger release. But I think it's important to let yourself feel the feelings, because if you try to suppress them or hide them or override them, or or assign anything to them like shame or blame, or like, I should be a bigger person, I shouldn't feel this way, I should feel happy for these guys, whatever, right? Like, without assigning anything to it, just feel what you feel until it's served you, and then it can pass, and then it's gone. It's like, today I feel way better, right? And once you've done that, you can sort of look at the situation without getting like emotionally entangled. You can sort of just like observe, and with that observation, without the energy, without the emotion, you have like much more clarity. And so that's kind of what I've been doing today. I've been looking at the situation, trying to figure out, exactly what it means for me. And in reality, what it means for me is all these guys are going to get a 2-week head start figuring out all the builds, all the content, all the guides for their channels. They're going to get to release those videos 4 days before I even get a chance to touch the expansion. And like, that sucks, bro. And there's a lot, I guarantee you, there's a bunch of other small creators just like me, some of which you guys probably follow, that are in the same exact boat, man. And they're probably also feeling pissed. And so this video is also for them, where it's tough to make it in the world of content creation these days, guys. It is not easy. And I've been at it for a while now through multiple ventures, and we're just starting to really figure it out and starting to break through a little bit. So today, as I've been thinking on it, I had this thought of like, what was my initial reaction to the event yesterday? That's not fair, okay? Well, let's think about it for a second. What is fair? Is this whole fucking place set up to be fair? There's a saying in the Bible that goes something like, to he who has everything, everything will be given. To he who has nothing, everything will be taken. And you think about that for a second. You're like, really? That's not fair. It doesn't sound that cool. Like, what if you're at the bottom? That sounds like a rough go. And it is. And that's, the reality of the world is many things work that way. And what can we do? Can we change the way reality is set up? No, we can't. Even if we really, really want to, physics is going to be physics, nature is going to be nature. We can change some shit we've created. But when you think about the concept of fair, is nature fair? Is the universe fair? Like, fair is a sort of human concept that we've dreamt up to, I'm not sure why, but that's like a much deeper thought and conversation. But this idea of fairness, life isn't fair. That's a reality. It's not set up to be fair. It's never been fair. It's never going to be fair. And so to get angry about something not being fair is dumb as fuck. Like, don't do that. And I just did that yesterday. That's dumb. So I'm thinking about it today, and I'm sort of trying to reconcile why I got so upset and why I was so sort of pissed off yesterday. And so if we're at the bottom and we can't make the world fair and we can't change nature or the universe, what are we going to do? Literally, the only thing we can do is turn inward and look at ourselves and say, what can I do within myself and in my immediate surroundings to give myself the best shot at my dreams? And there's going to be a constant flurry of things coming in to fuck up your dreams, like all the time, right and left. But if you sort of, hold on one second, someone's walking by. I can't talk when people are listening to me. Back to it. So the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. And so to all the other small creators out there, and to anyone that even has had the inkling that they might want to be a creator or might want to make a video someday or might want to stream someday, the reality is it's harsh at the bottom, man. And it's a grind. And you really got to be creative, be consistent, be persistent to sort of break through. And I've been at it for years now, and I haven't broken through. And it's going to be a totally different journey for everyone, right? But what's most important is this sort of introspection of, there's all these things that are going to be happening externally all the time, like this thing that happened yesterday where all these creators are going to get a huge advantage over me with the new season, even though I'm just as passionate and just as hungry as those guys are to deliver good content to you guys. Me and all the other small creators are going to be put at a 2-week disadvantage, which is basically a whole season in terms of figuring stuff out if you're a blaster, right? To deliver good content for you guys. And I think that is, it may be, I don't even know if it's the right marketing strategy for Blizzard, but I just think it's an interesting approach. And the thing that like rubs me the wrong way is it seems like they did it discreetly, where if it wasn't for the legend Darth microtransaction, I would have no idea this is happening. I would assume that all the other creators are still in the dark and we're all in an even playing field, and it's all happening on the 8th. And I looked, like I Googled a bunch of stuff and I couldn't find a single other thing saying that they did this other than DM's like super authentic video like he does, right? So again, shout out to him. But the fact that they sort of created this perception where we're all going to get to experience together, and then they sort of behind our backs give all the top creators this test build for the next 2 weeks, and they're gonna have all their videos lined up for 4 days before. It's gonna put any small creator that you like that is a Diablo creator at a big disadvantage. So I wanted to sort of create some awareness around that. I wanted you guys to keep that in mind coming into the new season, that every other creator you follow that doesn't get to participate in this is maybe just as passionate, just as hungry, just as knowledgeable, just as interested in delivering you guys great content, but they are, by Blizzard's hand, at a 2-week disadvantage on the game, and at a 4-day disadvantage on YouTube as far as traction, views, what's trending and stuff. And so coming into the new season, all us smaller creators get to do is try our best, and that's all we ever do. And that's not enough sometimes, guys. The reality is that's not enough sometimes. And so what do we do when it's not enough? We adjust the plan, tune it a little bit more, and keep going. Because that's the only thing we can do. If you're chasing your dreams, if you're chasing your goals, there's just adjustments. There's no turning back. There's no stopping. Like once you find the thing that really drives you, you'll realize that like everything else is kind of in the rearview mirror. And so that's what this YouTube journey is for me right now. I realized that there's this hyper fulfilling loop of playing the game, getting to be creative, come up with a cool build idea, share that with you guys tell me that's awesome, some ads get played in the middle of that, I make a little money, enough to live off of, you get to watch the video for free, YouTube gets their revenue, advertiser gets to show you something quick. Like it's like a win-win-win-win. And so that's what I'm really trying to pursue, and I've decided that I'm not going to let this event affect my plan. My plan this whole time has been to take the content I recorded in PTR, make a bunch of dope videos for you guys based off the sorcerer testing I did there, to be ready for season 6 launch. And then when season 6 launches, play the absolute shit out of Spiritborn and really try to flex my creativity to come up with as many kind of new and novel and fun builds for everyone to play as possible. And then with the new leveling system and everything, it's going to be like a really good season for alts, because the new leveling is like 1 to 60, and then you have Paragon up to like 300 Paragon level, but the Paragon level is shared between all your characters. So like if I level my Spiritborn to 60 in the first day, and then I'm pumping Paragon points for like the next week, as soon as I make my Sorcerer, like after I get to 60, I have those same 200 Paragon points that I pumped on my Spiritborn or whatever, right? So not only am I going to be playing Spiritborn and making Spiritborn builds, but I'm also going to be playing a bunch of other classes, maybe every other class, depending on how crazy I go, and really trying to deliver what I know is sort of my niche, my thing, what I'm good at, which is making builds that are fun, satisfying to play around some cool idea, spell, unique, and taking that and making it as powerful as possible. And so maybe it's 90% as powerful as the most powerful build, but maybe it's 100% more fun. And that's my goal. That's what I'm going to deliver to you guys. And this video is a bit of a commitment to you guys, where I'm going to do that regardless of what Blizzard does. I'm going to do that regardless of what everyone else does. I'm gonna fucking make my dreams happen, baby. And I've been chasing it for a long time, and now's the time. And you know, with D4 hidden, the expansion hidden on the 8th, and then November 15th, Path of Exile 2. Like, I played Path of Exile Beta 1 in college, like, forever ago, and just had such a good time. Like, I made this, like, rogue wizard. I used that freeze pulse spell, and I had, like, a bunch of rogue mobility, and I did that thing where you, like, take the thing that makes you immune to chaos damage but takes your HP to 1, but then I built a huge energy barrier, and I switched I built huge life vamp, but since I only had 1 HP, I switched all that to spell vamp. So I had this, like, hyper mobile spell vamp, 1 health, giant energy shield, like, rogue mage, and holy shit, it was fun. And I've like dabbled in PoE since then, but I haven't gotten super back into it. And so the end of this year, I'm really going to try to pump and deliver not just Diablo 4 content, but Path of Exile 2 content, and potentially any other action RPGs that come out that have these sort of, you know, deep build systems that I can make the videos I like to make. We're going to pursue. And so that's the conclusion of this video. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to my sort of rant here. And this is not my typical kind of video. If you watch any of my videos, they're very sort of like methodical, scripted, edited. And that's another thing I've realized, actually, is like I spend an inordinate amount of time editing. And I've had this perception in my head that, like, editing is important or necessary for me to, like, differentiate myself, because everyone else is just, like, posting their stream VODs. And what I'm gonna have to do to be different from that, especially if I'm not streaming, is like deliver a more finished product, or like a more refined product, or like something that's like, you know, looks more legit or is whatever, right? So in my head, I've had this maybe flawed idea that spending time on editing and delivering maybe like a more polished product in a build guide is what's gonna differentiate me. And what I've sort of realized is it's not. And what it's doing is it's taking a huge amount of the time I could be spending playing the game and figuring more shit out and sharing that with you guys. And so going forward, I'm likely going to be trying to record stuff in a bit more of like a live format, where I kind of just, you know, turn the webcam on, maybe have a couple bullet points and like talk through them like that, rather than, you know, scripting and then editing that and then you know, laying the video all over that and like trying to find video clips to represent what I'm talking about for that specific thing. Like, that whole sequence takes forever. And while it does make a good video, I don't think, you know, you guys aren't watching my content for the edit. You're watching my content for the build and the idea and how to play it. And so if I could deliver more of those and without losing any quality in the information, just doing it in more of like a live format like this, where I'm more just like talking to you guys, I think I could get a lot more out there. And so that's another thing I'm going to be changing like going forward, is especially when the 8th hits, when I'm just like grinding, I'm really going to try to be making videos more consistently and making them so that I don't have to do that, like, you know, hours and hours and hours of editing. I can record the video, do a little bit of editing, upload it that night, and then the next morning wake up and just keep pumping, baby. Yeah, so anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're still here with me, if you are a fellow player or any sort of smaller creator, anyone who's even dreamed of making YouTube videos or being on Twitch, I want you to know that it's hard, but it can be very worth it. And if you find the right way to do it, which is going to take time and it's not going to be easy, it can be very rewarding. And not even from a financial perspective. I'm making shit money still right now, guys, and I'm really not in this for the money. I am trying to make a lifestyle decision. I'm trying to create an intentional lifestyle with this sort of runway I have off of the retired funds from my engineering job that I was gonna go insane if I stayed there. So that's like another story for another video too, maybe. But anyways, all that, I'm gonna get up, it's time to go. Ugh. To all the actual humans at Blizzard, the Blizzard devs, the people that actually love the game and care about the players, not the executives making executive level decisions about the shareholders that ruin all that, I love you, and I know you're trying your best, and you know, we appreciate that as players and as the community. And to all the players in the community out there, I love you guys, and I'm gonna just do my best to keep trying to deliver the highest quality content I can, despite being disadvantaged and you know, kind of not being included in any sort of creator program or anything like that. I'm just gonna keep doing my own thing and trying to do it the best I can do it, and hopefully that's gonna be enough. So yeah, appreciate you guys, love you, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.